Panspermia, the theory that microbes transmit life to habitable bodies in space, or the process of such transmission. Cosmic ancestry is a new theory pertaining to evolution and the origin of life on Earth. It holds that life on Earth was seeded from space, and that life's evolution to higher forms depend on genetic programs that come from space. It accepts the Darwinian account of evolution that does not require new genetic programs. It is a wholly scientifical, testable theory for which evidence is accumulating. The first point, which deals with the origin of life on Earth, is known as Panspermia, literally meaning seeds everywhere. Its earliest record advocates that the Greek philosopher Anaxagoras, who influenced Socrates. However, Aristotle's theory of spontaneous generation came to be preferred by science for more than 2,000 years. Then on April 9, 1864, French chemist Louis Pasteur reported his experiment disproving spontaneous generation, as it was then held to occur. In 1870s, British physicist Lord Kelvin and German physicist Hermann von Helmholtz reinforced Pasteur and argued that life could come from outer space. And in the first decade of the 1900s, Swedish chemist and Nobel lecturer Svante Arrhenius theorized that bacterial spores propelled through space by light pressure were the seeds of entire life on Earth. Panspermia proposes that life that can survive the effects of space, such as extremophile bacteria, become trapped in debris that is ejected into space after collisions between planets that harbor life and small solar system bodies. Bacteria may travel dormant for an extended amount of time before colliding randomly with other planets or intermingling with protoplanetary disks. If met with ideal conditions on a new planet's surface, the bacteria become active and the process of evolution begins. Panspermia is not meant to address how life began, just a method that may cause its sustenance. During the late heavy bombardment 4.5 billion years ago, comets showered the Earth. It could be a possibility that glycine, an amino acid, may have been on the comets when they hit Earth. Amino acids are proteins, which are the fundamental building blocks of life. 1 billion years later, during the pre-Cambrian era, the most important events in biological history took place. At the end of the pre-Cambrian era, complex multicellular organisms evolved. Extremophiles can survive in extreme conditions. Not only are they found on Earth, there are possibilities they may have inhabited Mars and the moons of Jupiter. They remain dormant for millions of years inside meteors, which can shatter from space radiation. Bacterial spores is another way that life could have come to Earth. A charged bacteria particle in a solar system can find its way to outer planets and other solar systems by having direct interaction with the planets. Is there life other than here on Earth? It is a question that is yet to be answered, but no one which has not been pursued. Our planet is the only known place to harbour life in the observed universe. However, looks at the other number of galaxies, it seems naive to think that life has not arisen elsewhere. There is a group called the SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and the purpose of this group is to search for intelligent extraterrestrial life. They do this by searching for electromagnetic transmissions from civilizations on distant planets. However, as of yet, they haven't found any such signals. If such signals were to be found, the form of life would be quite advanced. However, it is not just for these kinds of life we search for. The search ranges from simple bacteria-like organisms to sapient beings far more advanced than humans. Given the limits of space travel, the search for microbial extraterrestrial life is fairly confined to our solar system, meaning if this were to be discovered, it would still need to be proven that such life did not originate from Earth in the recent or distant past. With no evidence of extraterrestrial life, this allows people to become rather imaginative when trying to ascertain what they may look like. The most common concept is, or an indigenous population inhabiting other planets. While the majority of people strive to search for another form of life, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking warned that we should not try and contact alien life forms. He warned that aliens might pillage Earth of its resources. Quote, "If aliens visit us, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out too well for the Native Americans." Being a subject with very little evidence, this makes way for urban legends to come into some type of effect. Beliefs that Identified flying objects are of extraterrestrial origin, along with claims of alien abduction and all sorts of misfits. These are all dismissed by most scientists. Most UFO sightings are either explained by Earth-based aircraft or known astronomical objects, or in most cases, hoaxes. With the inquisitive nature of humans, I don't see us stopping the search. However, as to what we will discover, only time will tell. Furthermore, some people do have their reservations about panspermia. Although it is possible for bacteria to survive the heat from our own atmosphere, there are doubts that it is impossible for any life to withstand the heat produced from a comet colliding with the planet Earth, even though studies have been done. If panspermia is correct, then it would be highly unlikely that life would be present on Venus and Mars, even though both planets were very similar to Earth in their own beginnings. For all the elements needed to create life to be present on one comet are mind-blowingly low. Carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen are all only created when a star is born or when a star dies. Also, amino acids are only present in molecular gas clouds. Heavy elements are not present outside of the planetary environment. This means that it is highly unlikely that life could originate in outer space itself. To conclude, without a supernatural intervention, the earliest living forms were generated spontaneously on Earth through abiotic processes. All evidence accumulated on panspermia actually are not evidence on the account of cosmic ancestry or the beginning of terrestrial life, but just speculations on how life could have reached Earth and come from other cosmic places.